Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to give you guys a recap on a new episode of ReZero Starting Life in Another World on Season 2, which is on episode 48, or episode 10 of Season 2, or Part 2 of ReZero on Season 2. Anyways, this episode right here, I thought it was pretty nice, so I'm gonna try to make it simple, like focus on one part, then we can focus on the other parts later in a specific order. So, I'm gonna focus on this part at the mansion, because it was going back and forth here and there, so if anything else, let's start the mansion part first, okay? We had to that Garfield continues his fight against Elsa, and it looks like to me Garfield and Elsa seem to be on par with each other. Then we get to know about Elsa's power, and she is actually a vampire with very powerful regenerating abilities, and that alone was actually a threat to possibly to Garfield, because every time he takes damage or injury, he doesn't heal or regenerate as fast as she does. But, even so, Garfield says, hey, I can still kill you, though, because I know of someone who is actually a vampire, and she's dead, and she's killable, so that means you are killable, so I'm just have to kill you multiple times when I have to. And Elsa's like, don't you think you should be worried about your boss whatsoever? And Garfield's like, oh, don't worry about him. He will take on any magic beast on his way, And unfortunately, what's the funniest part is that Subaru's running for his life from a freaking giant dog. Magic dog, I was laughing my butt off right now, thinking in my mind, man, Garfield must have had real high hopes for following Subaru that badly, Oh, man, I was just laughing so hard the way how Garfield's like, he can handle anything comes his way. I'm like, about that. Okay, jokes and funny moments aside, Subaru, Otto, and Petra work together to throw some oil onto the magic dog and light it up to kill him, Well, Subaru messed up pretty badly, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, seriously, what the f is wrong with you? But with Otto and Petra working together, they managed to douse him with a lot of oil and flame him up. But unfortunately, when they flamed up the dog, they flamed up the mansion. So, yeah, toodles to the mansion, or say sayonara to the mansion. But we had to that Subaru tells Petra, Otto, and take Rem with you. I gotta go save someone first, which is Bieko or Beatrice, which apparently they're gonna take care of no problem, or Subaru's gonna try to figure that out no problem, As the fight continues on in the mansion, Garfield and Frederica work together to handle both Meili and Elsa. We get to know a little bit more about Elsa in a way, why she's a little psychotic, She was abandoned she was abandoned when she was a child, and she was about to be, how am I supposed to say it? Assaulted in a very inappropriate way by some evil douche whatsoever, but later on she killed him, and then she found warmth in the innards of human beings, and that's why she finds joy in it, Garfield's like, okay, whatever, why should I even care? And Elsa's like, let's just say I found you attractive. And Garfield's like, I'm sorry, but my heart belongs to somebody else, not to some ridiculous bee like you, And we had to that Meili looks like to me she's got defeated, and as for her giant hippo, Garfield does kill that hippo by twisting its head off, etc. But unfortunately, even when he entered his monstrous form, he couldn't enter it for too long because he took too much damage or something, But that aside, we have to it after making the right distractions here and there. We have to it that Garfield ends up making a nasty injury onto Elsa by biting her into her neck area, or near her neck and throat area, By that time, Elsa did the same, but unfortunately for her, Garfield did not feel much of that. He later on lifts up the hippo, throws it on top of Elsa, and Elsa can only remember having her life flash before her eyes before she says, how magnificent, and she gets killed and crushed by that giant hippo. So, I guess in order to kill her entirely is like you had to destroy her completely all in one blow. Guess that's how it works, right? I don't know, but all I know is Garfield managed to defeat Elsa by throwing a giant hippopotamus corpse that Meili was trying to control, etc. Yeah. As for Emilia, she apparently, she is taking on her third trial, and it looks like to me she heard a lot of voices, which apparently we get to know it's the future of what's to come. We have to it that Emilia ends up actually talking with the Witch of Wrath, or Minerva, for a little bit, and asked her why she is so calm and not so horrified or shocked about the future she saw. And Amelia's like, well, it's not set in stone, you know, that's the thing. And Amelia talks more about the situation, how she's not giving up, and, you know, she just sees Echidna, or Echidna, however you want to pronounce her name, a mean girl, you know, despite the fact that Echidna really hates her, and she says, I really hate you, you know, that kind of thing. But whatever the case is concerning about, Minerva leads Amelia to a certain door, you know, but not before she talks about her mom for a little bit, but promises that she can't say anything more than that, you know, and etc. So I go like, oh, that's pretty sweet, you know. I mean, Minerva's not as antagonistic, and we all know how she is. I mean, like, she's pretty cool, and she's always like saying, oh, I'm not crying at all, you know. I'm like, yeah, right, you really are emotional. Don't go giving that BS, you know. But that aside from what's to come here and there, we have to it that eventually Minerva leads Amelia to the gate where she could pass her trial, you know, and she ends up looking at some kind of corpse whatsoever, which is Echidna herself, unfortunately. We have to it that Amelia raises her hand and destroys the magic or the barrier that was concealing everything that's around the area, and later on she ends up going outside, but the moment she gets outside, it's all snowy. Okay, so the mansion part, Subaru ends up trying to look for Byakuya, you know, after taking care of the magic dog, while Garfield and Frederica take care of Meili and Elsa, no problem, you know. Well done. Nicely done. Yippee. But as for Amelia, she passes her third trial, no problem, and having a little conversation with Minerva, you know. But not before Amelia leaves and says, hey, the next time we meet, let's have a tea party and get the other witches too, and possibly Echidna if she wants to come. And Minerva's like, yeah, I'll bring her along, even if it's about to drag her butt out there, you know. Let's do it. So I go, oh, ain't that sweet. Now, the last part of the episode is where Puck and Ram, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I struggle so hard to try to not to mix up her name and the blue and her sister's name. But we have two that Puck and Ram ends up working together against Roswaal, but unfortunately they seem to be on par with each other. One seems to be, but as the battle continues on, it looks like to me Ram is about to reach her limit. And we get to know a little bit more about Roswaal, you know. We get to know seeing how Roswaal is trying to tempt Ram. Like, don't you want to kill me after what I've done to you? After all this I put you through. Your people, your sister, and yourself. Don't you want to kill me or something? Isn't that what you want? But Ram's like, yeah, at first it was like that, but I truly deeply love you or something, you know? Although Roswaal tries to deny this, saying, hey, don't give me that BS whatsoever, you know? Eventually, Puck and Ram ends up working together, with Puck having to give the big distraction to Roswaal by turning big and make it look like he transformed into his deadliest form, you know? Which we all know what that is. I'm not gonna explain this here, obviously, from the get-go. But because of that distraction given long enough for Ram to use her trump card, steal the Tomb of Wisdom, which apparently was given to him by Echidna, says, well, I got this, say goodbye. And Roswaal can only scream in total agony and horror as Ram ends up throwing it into the fire, and she gets blasted by Roswaal's fire technique attack, you know, etc. And yeah, the episode ends up there. So, all I can really tell you that in these parts here and there, the mansion fight, Subaru will look for Beatrice after taking care of the magic dog, while Garfield and Frederica succeed in their victory against Meili and Elsa. And as for the second part, I will talk, as I said, Amelia passes her third trial, but it becomes a snowy plain. But we get to see Puck and Ram facing against Roswaal, and Ram taking the Tomb of Wisdom and throwing it into the fire, you know, after like a brief struggle against him. So, overall, I thought the episode was really slick, you know. I mean, like, Subaru managing to defeat the Magic Beast with the help of Otto and Petra and looking for Byakuya. As for Garfield and Frederica working together, they managed to handle both the Magic Beast user and the Vampire Regenerating Bee, or Psychotic Bee. And Amelia passing her trial, and Roswaal, you know, it looks like to me that Tomb of Wisdom is gone, so we don't know how that's going to go out, but they're still in that time loop. And if Subaru dies, who knows where the hell they have to restart, you know? Who knows where the hell he has to restart. But it looks like to me the victory is assured, but nothing is for certain yet, you know? As someone I commented and talked to already, one problem is solved, however, two more or one more take its place. It's like saying, cut off one head, two more shall take its place. So, yeah, it's not over yet. We still got a couple more episodes left. And then, I don't know, sooner or later, I hope we could get an announcement of Season 3 very soon, you know? I mean, like, yeah. So, until then, peeps, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day. And I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot.